Real tensions, obviously, between those who support the Second Amendment and those demanding greater gun control. We will talk about those tensions with the American ambassador to New Zealand later in the program. But our correspondent in Las Vegas is Patrice Howard. I spoke with her shortly before we came on air, and we began with the official death toll.
59 dead confirmed, more than 520 injured right now after that shooting. So that's where that stands.
And with so many people injured, being shot with the sorts of weapons that Paddock was using, the death toll is expected to rise, is it?
Exactly. Police here in Las Vegas say that right now what they are doing is working to connect families with victims, with those who have been shot. Of course, we saw many die, but we saw many more injured. And so what they're doing is opening small areas on the ground here where families can connect. They have a hotline, and really they're just trying to unite people who were injured with those who are looking for them right now.
And of course, it being Vegas and it being a concert in Vegas, one imagines that a great many of the people who are injured and of course have been killed will have come from somewhere else.
That's right. I mean, people come to Las Vegas because it's a vacation destination. It's a place to have fun. The people who were gathered there in that crowd were there for a country music concert on a beautiful night here in Las Vegas on the Strip, right in the heart of the city. And so for something like this to happen, people are walking around here a bit shocked. You can tell that the mood shifted quite significantly because this happened really right in the middle of a very vibrant area, a place that draws tourists from around the world. And many of those affected are coming from around the world. We're starting to hear not only the victims, but also those who were injured in this attack be identified. And they're really coming from across the country and the world.
And that brings us, of course, to the man responsible for this slaughter, and his name is Stephen Paddock. And this sort of inexplicable hatred, the degree of his enmity for strangers. Does anyone understand where this came from and why?
Well, let's start with his brother. Eric Paddock gave an interview to U.S. media earlier today, and he essentially said he has no idea where this came from. He said that he is shocked to know that his brother had the kind of weapons that he had, semi-automatic or automatic weapons that did such damage to the crowd down below there, the Mandalay. This is a man without a military background or anything like that. So right now, not only is this man's family trying to figure out how this came to be, why this man planned this attack, but police and law enforcement officials are wondering how he got his hands on such a dangerous and destructive weapon, which even with gun laws here in the United States, and they're especially loose here in the state of Nevada, that is a hard weapon to get your hands on. It's not often used in crime, so that is a big question in this case.
Patrice, in the hours afterwards, as all of this was unfolding last night, IS came out and said that he was connected to them. There is no one who is taking this seriously, is there?
There is not, especially the law enforcement community here. They made sure to come out and say early on that they don't believe that there is any connection to an international terrorist group, though they did claim association with the attack, as they have in previous incidents. They say that they are still very much looking for the motive. What would cause this man who lives just 80 miles north of the Las Vegas Strip to drive down here to barricade himself inside a hotel room for 3 days straight and to essentially unleash terror on the city? It's very unclear right now, and that's really what they're working to get to the bottom of.
And Patrice, once again, this has such a familiar pattern, doesn't it? That the calls for gun control begin. The people who don't want to discuss gun control send their thoughts and prayers. That phrase keeps getting used almost ad infinitum. Will America be able to respond in a meaningful way this time, or is the situation still as bitterly divided, gun control versus Second Amendment, as it's ever been?
Exactly. Talk about the most political and the most politicized issue in the U.S., gun control. So often, and when something like this happens, you start to see voices emerge. Twitter has made that very easy. You can literally go on and see both sides fighting with each other, and people in the public calling for them not to do that, to focus instead on the people who were injured, the people who died. We, of course, heard from Press Secretary Sarah Sanders earlier, and she basically said that it's not the time to talk about yes. policy or to talk about gun restrictions. So certainly a politicized issue here, but one that people hope will not be.
It seems very difficult to find the time in which people want to talk about gun control on some sides in the United States. That's the big picture. The little picture, of course, is what's happening in Vegas right now. As you say, this is a holiday town. As you say, this is a place where people come to escape and lose their money and have a bit of fun. What is it like on the streets now?
It's just a little bit quieter than usual when it comes to the tourists and the way that they're walking around and enjoying the city. And the big reason for that is the increased law enforcement presence. Just walking down on the Strip here and through the hotel that I'm staying at, you can just feel the increased police presence. They're looking at you. They're making sure that not only is the public safe, but that the institutions that they're here to protect are safe. The landmarks and the hotels and these big structures that people come to marvel at, the big shows and the casinos, they're all very open and free on a typical night. You know, people are strolling through, they're having drinks, they're gambling. But tonight it's just a little bit tighter. The doors are shut. You know, people are filing in a little bit slower. There's just a different mood in the city, but people are also giving back. They're giving blood. They're taking time off their vacation to see what they can do to help the victims. And so that is something right now, the hashtag Vegas Strong is trending, and that really is what the city is trying to be right now in a very difficult time.
Patrice Howard from Las Vegas, and then, as I said earlier, the US Ambassador will join us to discuss gun control, Second Amendment and his own gun ownership later in the program.